Good morning, everyone. Thanks for stopping in to stamp with me today. Today's exciting for me because yesterday I received my new Stamparatus tool. I haven't even had a chance to try it yet, so you're going to try it along with me. One thing I wanted to remind you before I get going, we are still in the reservation window for the Stamparatus, and you will not be charged until it ships out in March. And I wanted to show you, if you go to my Stampin' Up store, all you need to do is look for this picture right here. The Stamparatus is here. Click here to reserve it, and you only have until tomorrow to do that. If you don't do it by tomorrow, you'll have to wait until June 1st when the new annual catalog debuts. And as I stated, your debit card or credit card will not be charged until March when your Stamparatus ships. So let's go ahead and dig into the box. This is so exciting. As you can see, it's very well packaged. You do have a little flyer here with the 3 languages. And there's pictures on the components and then how to put it together. But I'm going to show you how to do that. I was fortunate that I was able to view a bunch of videos that Linda Heller did for us. And she explained everything so well and gave us a lot of tips. So these are the removable plates. There's 2 of them. And if you'll notice, there's hinges on each one. And there's also a grid sheet, or grid lines, I should say, on each one. This is the base. These are where the hinges will snap in place. Now, there is a small mat that fits perfectly in there. And then you have the bottom that has the grids. This is because we have the rubber stamps and the photopolymer. This makes up for the height that the photopolymer does not have the foam. And then you can place this whichever way you want. If you're left-handed, if you're right-handed, you can flip sideways and top. And I'm going to show you how to do that. The hinges pop right in. Now, when storing this, you can store it with one of these plates in place. You cannot store it with the second one because it does not fold flat and you're going to ruin your Stamparatus tool. So make sure when you're done with it and you want to put it away, you take one of these off and just place it on top. Now, on the bottom, when you flip it over, you'll find the storage for the 2 magnets. I'm going to show you what those are for. And look how strong these are. You try not to make sure that you don't layer them on top of each other because they are hard to take apart. So those go right here when you're done, so you'll know where they are. So let me take them off. Okay, now we are ready. Oh, see, they grabbed together already. I don't have to separate them. Now, when you need to clean this, you just need to use a soft cloth. I've wet this. I got to show you this. This is a towel that a friend of mine made for me. She embroidered it with Born to Stamp. But I keep that nearby, and that's what I'm going to use to clean it off. I don't want to scratch my plates. So let's get ready to stamp. I'm going to show you a few examples here. Let me just make sure I went over everything that I wanted to. Okay, the first thing we're going to do is you put this way in the corner, and that's where your magnets come in. This will hold down your cardstock. Now, the first thing I'm going to show you is just how to ink a stamp. So I'm going to use this large stamp. I want to stamp this right in the middle. I place it where I want, and then my plate will grab it, and it stays intact. I'm going to bring in some ink, and then I'm carefully going to ink my stamp. One thing that you have to make sure you're careful of is getting ink on your hinge, only because you might touch it with your fingers and then you'll get it all over your cardstock. Next, we're going to bring it down and press. You'll notice that I got a little bit of ink right here on my plastic. Okay, so now if I wanted to do another one, this is already where I want it. So I bring this in, bring a new cardstock in, ink again, press down, and I've got 2 done already. Now let's say I'm not happy with this color. I don't feel that it's dark enough. I'm going to bring in the Flirty Flamingo, and because this is already in place, I'm going to ink my Happy Birthday, press down, and I now have a darker sentiment. So you can keep doing this. You can see here where my B didn't ink very well. I'm going to come in and ink just that portion of my stamp, bring it down, and I've just filled it in. So you can keep doing this over and over to keep getting a darker, vivid image if you want to. Okay, now let me clean this off. Another thing that Linda showed that I thought was pretty neat is using my Stamp-A-Majig sheet. If I don't want to waste paper, I would do add the sheet over my cardstock first. So let me do a new sheet. I see my magnets stuck together. So I'm going to put my Stamp-A-Majig sheet over this first. Ink the image. This way I can tell if it's going to be straight or not before I waste my cardstock. So I can see here that I like the positioning, and if not, then I would adjust my stamp, redo it. You can wipe this off, position, re-ink, re-stamp until you're happy with the positioning of your image. So that's a great tip. And if you don't have a Stamp-A-Majig sheet, you can use a window sheet, anything that's clear that you can see through. Okay, now let's move on to 2-step stamping. So let me put this one away. Now for this one, I'm going to use the Dragonfly Dreams. As you can see, I've got the outline of the dragonfly, and then I have the wings that will fill this in. So again, I'm going to, let's turn it this way this time. And I want him to be a little at an angle. I'm going to do basic black. I've inked my stamp, and now I'm pressing down. And you see how it didn't do the middle, so we're going to do that over. Okay, and we're going to do it one more time. We just have a little bit left that's not inking. I'm trying to stay within the camera view, so I'm probably not inking this as hard as I should. Okay, so now we have a perfect image. I'm going to bring in the two-step. I'm going to lay this where I want it to stamp, which is right there. Bring down my clear plate. The black ink is sticking for some reason. I did smudge it there. I should have let it dry a little bit longer, but you're going to get the gist of what I'm doing. Okay, look how perfect that's stamped. It filled in that color perfectly. So that's how you would use the two stamping. Now, another way to do this, if you're making multiples, so I'm going to position this where I want again. I'm going to use a different color this time just because the black is sticking. Let's turn this over. I'm going to bring in early espresso. Press down to stamp the image. Now I'm going to bring this in, the second image. And this is where the second clear plate comes in. Because if you're doing multiples, this is perfect. So I'm going to ink and stamp. Okay, perfect. So if you need to do 5 or 6 or 8 or 10 of these, you leave your stamp images where they are, and all you do is add another sheet of paper, ink your brown, ink your pool party, and you just keep going over and over until you have as many as you need. So that's how you would do the two-step stamping with 2 of the plates. Now let's move on. So what do you think so far? Hi Karen, I'm not very good at being able to stamp and video and look at comments at the same time. Hi Tracy. I keep forgetting to check my comments. Okay, now we're going to move on to hinge stamping. What I'm going to do with this one is use the icing on the cake. I'm going to use the happy and the birthday, which are 2 different images. We're going to add this cardstock vertically. Oh, I got ink on my fingers. And now what I'm going to do is place the happy within the first 2 hinges. Press down. And I'm going to bring in Blushing Bride. Ink my stamp. Sorry about the mess. Wait, let me get another cardstock. I need to stop and wipe my hands. I have black ink all over me. Okay, restart. Ink my stamp. Stamp it. Pull it out. And we're going to go down a notch. So you skipped 1 hinge wherever you put this little track. Go down to the next track. Ink again. Pull it out. Go down to the 3rd track. Ink again. And I'm going to do 1 more. Whoops, I need to move down first. Re-ink. And now I'm going to remove this stamp and come in with the birthday. And I'm using Melon Mambo for this color. And see how you can do the repetitive wording. This would also be good to do like an ombre, start with a darker color, work your way to lighter or the opposite. So that's pretty neat. That's another good thing you can do with the Hinge system. Okay, next up, oh boy, here we go again. Next up is die cut stamping. Let me get rid of some of these ink pads. It's going to take a lot of getting used to with the magnets, I can see. Okay, what I've done is I've taken a piece of cardstock. I've cut out the basket from Picnic with You. And this is something that I will keep inside my stamp case because I can reuse it. So I've already cut this out, but this is a stamped image that goes on here. Now, if you try to eyeball that and try to stamp it on there, it probably won't come out very well. So what you do, and this is thanks to Linda Heller again, you put this is going to go back in here, but you take your stamp first, fit it in the hole, put your hinge back on, pick up the stamp, add the die cut to the template, and we're going to ink the stamp, and I'm using crumb cake ink. I'm going to stamp on the die cut. And then you have the perfect basket. And so if you have 20 of these that you need to do, you just keep putting it in the hole and stamp and take it out and put another one in. So that's the quick way of doing the die cut stamping. Isn't that neat? And lastly, we're going to do 4-step stamping. Now, my daughter is going to be having a baby in March, and I am going to be doing a baby shower, and I need to do a lot of invites. So this is where, if I'm using this image, as you can see, there's 3 different colors on this bear. Plus, I'm going to add a sentiment. So this is going to come in real handy. Okay, I need to just step away just for a second to cut a piece of cardstock. Okay, here's, I'm going to put it this way. And I'm going to start out with bear number 1. So I want it right here because I want room for the sentiment. And I'm going to start out with soft sky ink. So let's flip this over to grab the bear. The photopolymer keeps sticking to the cardstock and grabbing it. So I'm going to ink bear number 1. Go ahead and stamp that. Remove him. And now we're doing bear number 2. Now what I'm going to do with him is place him exactly where I want him. And what I'm lining up is these 2 little white spaces right here. So that's where he should go. I'm going to bring in Marina Mist for my second ink. There's bear number 2. I did take a permanent marker and mark my bears too, so I knew which one, which order they went through. Again, I'm going to line up the 2 little white spaces. This is bear number 3. And he's going to be inked with Dapper Denim. And see how perfect that is? It lined up perfectly. If you'll notice too, I did get ink around the bear on the plastic sheet. It did not transfer to my cardstock. Now what I forgot to do, this is 4-step stamping. I was supposed to show you a different way to do this. Let's try this again. So if you only have 1 card to do, you can do it the way I just did it. But if you have a bunch like I have, we're going to start out with bear number 1 again. Now I'm going to take this out and flip it around. So this stamp is going to stay on this side. We'll bring in bear number 2. With Marina Mist. We're going to leave both of these stamps in place. Bear number 3. Now we're going to bring the second plate in. Dapper Denim. So that's bear number 3. Now we need to add the sentiment. So again, we're going to take this hinged, turn it around, and then I want something for baby. And sorry about the mess here. I'm just using cardstock that's handy to me. Now I'm going to do something a little different with the sentiment. I'm going to ink it. And then I want the word baby to be a little bit darker than something for. So I'm going to bring in a marker, a Dapper Denim marker. I'm going to color the word baby. And then go ahead and stamp. And you'll see how that came out darker than the 2 other words. So that's another way. If you're doing markers, it's a great way to do the markers. So these were just a few tips. I'm sure I'm going to learn more along the way, and I'll have more videos. I just wanted to quickly remind you again that tomorrow is the last day for the reservations. Other than that, you'll have to wait until June 1st. So make sure you get your name in. And thanks so much for stopping by. See you later.